G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to patch 1.81. Personally for me, patch 1.81 didn't look very exciting. As I got towards the dev servers and everything, I honestly couldn't have cared less. It wasn't exciting. I thought, wow, helicopters, big deal. They're just going to get completely roasted by planes and nothing's going to happen of them. Wow, new T80, M1 IP, Warrior, not fussed, don't care. And I just genuinely wasn't interested in the new patch. But as the patch rolled around, and as I got to playing the UH1 and the AH1Z, as I got around to playing top tier a bit more, having fun with ATGMs, actually getting kills, it dawned on me that the new spawn point system is probably the best thing about the whole patch. Now let me explain. In the old system, you had 450 spawn points to start off, and your first tank could cost up to 450 spawn points. That would mean that if you died, that would be it for you. Now, the tank spawn points have been halved, and as a result, what you tend to get is a much more fluid battle. No one's sitting around waiting for their one death and then out they go back into another match. People are actually starting to take lineups now, and this is becoming a lot more evident. People are no longer taking the one or two vehicles because now they have extra spawn points to go out and get extra kills. Personally, this is what I've been asking for a very long time. And I'm really glad that Gaijin has actually gotten around to addressing this. So, if you decide to take your King Tiger out, and you get completely destroyed, well, at least you have a chance now to properly redeem yourself. This is a massive game changer for top tier, because top tier was previously very stale, very sort of one way to do things only. If you used close air support, you were probably throwing spawn points away. If you used SPAA, you were probably wasting your time because no one would bother spawning close air support. So it was literally just MBT versus MBT. No ATGMs, no anything really. It was just MBTs with APFSDS, and that was it. And it was just bland. There was nothing to it. As the patch rolls around, they finally fix ATGMs. So if you want to use those ATGMs in your T64 and your T80, they're more than viable now. Especially with the amount of penetration that they have and the amount of post-penetration damage that they do. Personally, I've been using the MBT-70 and I've had a lot of fun in the MBT-70, despite doing absolutely god-awfully terrible. Regardless, the fact that I'm able to use my ATGMs now makes me incredibly happy. I can finally get back to using my Swingfire. Oh man, I've missed driving the Swingfire. And the fact that ATGMs were fixed, even if it was just to grab money for the helicopters, I don't care. They've done a good thing. And Gaijin should be praised for it. Now that ATGMs are a little bit more useful, and the BMP-2 and the Warrior have been added, as well as the Begleitpanzer Panzer and the BMP-1, and maybe soon we'll get the Bradley, maybe soon we'll get other APCs. I'm honestly looking forward to a more fleshed out meta. But for me, the real kicker seems to be the helicopters. The helicopters themselves have so much potential, and it takes skill, teamwork, map knowledge of the game, knowledge of the enemy team to properly execute a successful attack. And this is the thing that I really, really like. You might be thinking, well, all you really do is you just press spacebar to launch your ATGM, and you point the reticule where you want it to go, and the ATGM will go there and you get an easy kill. No, it doesn't really work that way. Because if you just do that, by the time the ATGM hits, you'll be over the battlefield. And by the time you're over the battlefield, There'll be other attack helicopters. There'll be MBTs with ATGMs. And there'll be SPAA with radar. You'll be dead. So what you need to do is, in the background footage, you can see what I'm doing. I'm finding a sneaky spot. I'm sitting there at lowish altitude, lowish speed, trying not to be detected, firing off an ATGM one at a time, being very careful, making sure that no one is around me. And I'm doing it at a time where the enemy is about to be crushed. I'm not doing it as a comeback, and you can't come back with helis. You simply can't. Because they are very vulnerable. Extremely vulnerable. And it's a bit like trying to come back with an MBT in patch 1.69. You jump in your T55 and, oh look, all of a sudden there's a CL with several HVARs on you. It's the same concept, just in 1.81. And for helis, which is a lot more balanced, and it's a lot more reasonable, especially considering, it being ground forces, after all. I've personally noticed that a lot of people are bringing a lot more planes lately. And whether that's just to farm off the helicopters, or if it's to, I don't know, probably that would be the main thing. And honestly, it's not a bad thing. For me, I'm really enjoying having a lot more planes in top tier tanks, because that gives me a chance to come back with SPAA. And it's also a lot of fun. It's also so much fun doing ground attack, and the fact that we have such potential in the helicopters is really, really exciting to me. And it's proven so far to be extremely enjoyable. For me, as a person who enjoys close air support and who enjoys SPAA, this is one of the best patches that has ever hit top tier. It has turned top tier from an absolutely stale mess to a well-rounded, more tactical version of what it was a couple of patches ago. In 1.71, when the first sets of ERA and tanks with ERA were introduced, the meta was incredibly stale, and part of it was also due to map design. I found that with the larger maps, people weren't taking advantage of the ability to flank or the speed, and they were just camping the back of their own spawn, or they were looking for the highest point on the map and just sitting there and camping there, and it just wasn't fun. Now that we've got, first of all, faster MBTs, and we've also got helicopters to rat those people out, it makes the meta a lot more enjoyable, and it makes the whole flow of top tier a lot more enjoyable. Personally, I used to bail on Fulda, and now I don't think I will, and I haven't been, and I've been enjoying it. And not only that, but personally, I think I've been enjoying the way the helicopters play on maps like Fulda, maps like Mozdok, maps like Fields of Poland. I think it's really, really enjoyable, because there's so much open space that SPAAs, if they want to get a kill and they want to support their team, have to move out of the spawn. They don't sit in the spawn anymore because they simply can't afford to. Even with maps like Fulda, which sort of sit on a hill and a little bit more quiet, I guess. I think it's been easily one of the best changes to top tier that War Thunder has seen in a long, long time. Perhaps since 1.69 or 1.67. Now, the helicopters on screen you'll be seeing are the AH-1Z and the Premium Huey. I personally enjoy them. I think the flight models are okay. I saw Mags's video, both of them in fact, and I do find them interesting. But personally, if they're good enough for gameplay, I don't really care. I'm not a helicopter person. I don't really know anyone who is. But for me, if I'm going to be playing a helicopter, I'm not going to be, super great at it. I'll know mainly how to use it in game. And that's the thing that, personally, if it works in game for me, I'm okay with it. Maybe if it's not 100% accurate, it can be worked on later. But if it's good enough, I can roll with it. And it seems to be the case with the helicopters. They're not perfect, but then again, you look at War Thunder's flight models, and the Spitfire should wing stall if it turns too hard, and it doesn't because we've got instructors, and the instructor, maybe that holds the helicopters back in their with the flight model, but it's good enough for gameplay, and it's good enough that if you've got skill, you can make them work, and that's the important part. Personally, I think the helicopters have been easily some of the best additions to War Thunder. If you disagree with me, comments below. I want to have a chat. I want to discuss things. But personally, it's just turned top tier War Thunder into a way more diverse, way more fluid matchmaker. And it's just given it a nice shake up, and it's a good change from the old stale everyone slinging darts and camping the back of the map. Anyways, guys, if you want me to showcase anything from the new patch, let me know right away. I'll see what I can do to get to it. Otherwise, take care, and I'll catch you next time.